supremacists. Neo-Nazis are too. And this president, who loves to coddle white supremacists, has decided that they should be given checks.
Welcome to Everything Is. Welcome to Everything Is. I'm your host, Chitty, CT Chitty Bang. I'm here with Chris, the Most High, my tag team partner. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing all right, man. You know what it is. I am chilling, trying to, survive in these streets. For anybody who's married with kids, send a prayer for your boy.
For sure, as I will. Right now, it's definitely a tough time for a lot of people, but we want to bring you out a vibe. We want to bring you out good, just good information.
We no vibes today.
What? Oh, again, we gotta bring something. We gotta bring
it ain't
something.
no vibes, bro. It ain't no vibes. You already know what we right now. What we talking about ain't no vibes, bro. We
All
start.
right. You're right. We're not bringing a ton of great vibes. I'm not saying. I just said vibes. I'm not saying they're going to be good, but there's some type of vibe. It's a vibe of some sort. But we want to bring information more than anything. We want to educate. We want to keep ourselves updated on what's going on, the day to day going on in this world. I promise you, tomorrow will be a more vibey pod. I know things have been kind of heavy for this week, but it's a heavy world out here, and if we're not staying tapped in, then what are we doing, right? So yeah, we got a couple topics for you today that are quite heavy on the hot, but I want y'all to stick with us. Stay with us because you might learn something, you know? So,
Well, you always gonna learn. You always gonna learn something.
yeah,
Well, that's the great words of Dan Levitar. We're not asking you if you want to learn. I mean, we're not telling you what to learn. We're just asking, would you like to? You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Would you like to learn something? Because we're finding something new out every day around here. And well, things that aren't new, we're gonna bring to your attention. Because what the code open was is something that ain't new, right?
it
This
ain't
shit
new.
here, this shit has been going on. The insurrection was in 2022, correct? January
Yeah.
6th, 2022.
January 6th, 2022, right.
So for 4 years,
Or 2021.
2021.
2021, yeah.
So this shit, what LeBron say? Add one more on there, nigga. We gonna throw another year on there, nigga. For 5 years, for 5 years, it has been a get back, right? Like these
It's been
niggas.
crazy. I think I would go back even further about, I, I'm gonna, I get it's a hard time talking about this stuff because um, it's like your eyes get open to the world, right? And you start to see how people view you, how people view the government, how people view what is um, what is what's the word? What is allowed? Like what is deemed appropriate in this country, and the ways people will play dumb to act like certain things are not happening when they're happening right in front of our face. You know, let me ask you something real quick before we even get into it. How much of your tax money do you think the government has just sitting around like that? They can actually do whatever they want with, like, no vote, no Congress approval, like just move it.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing with the banks, right? Our money that's in the banks ain't really there, right? They use our money to then lend. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Which is why somebody can't go in and be like, "Yeah, my bank account got 1,237,000. Let me go ahead and
they
get
ain't
that
gonna
two
let you
hundred
just
thirty-seven
take all that out whenever you want. No, it's not
thousand."
safe. You know,
Can't.
can't just do that. So like reason why I ask because I'm still learning that, and I think that when we talk about even with the conversation we had yesterday about Jeff Bezos and the taxes and the portion of paying taxes, um, and that's why I said he has a point is because we do need to be a lot more stringent as a society on where the tax dollars go. Like he's not completely blameless, but he has a point is that we need to know because even if you tax the billionaires double, how does that then impact our lives and where does that go? You know, and I do believe that the government does hoard a lot of our tax dollars and then tell us there's a deficit for some reason. And there might be, don't get me wrong, but then they'll spend money, and we know tons of it will go to Israel to help them with the war and with weapons. Tons of it goes to
Or Russia
or shit, yeah,
or
Ukraine,
Ukraine.
tons of it will go to the military industrial complex. Then it's these things that we start to just like we just throw it out there like, oh, that's the way our government works, and we just sit down and we say, well, I guess this is normal. We don't really question it because we've always heard. I mean, we almost think like it's above our pay grade, it's above our minds, a comprehension of why they're doing these things when we should take a little bit more of a deeper dive into these things. So,
Well,
and
well, I would. I'm
no,
sorry to
go
cut
ahead.
you off, but what I would say to your point of when you say us being cognizant, I think it start like, I mean, realistically, let's think about it. We get out of COVID, we get Biden, right? He's supposed to be leading us out of trepidation, and he's supposed to have us at ease. When you talk about tax dollars and where does it go, the first thing we think about, it pushes a fucking vaccine, and they started funding a war first in this time frame. We're talking about in the 2020s, right? 2020s, we're in 2026. Joe Biden got inaugurated in 2021. His one of his first of actions is to support Ukraine in the war against Russia. So during that time frame, our tax dollars is supporting a war. Right now, our troops wasn't in it. Now we're not involved in it. Now we're not boots on the ground. Like we don't have, people, our kids being sacrificed and everything like that, or family members being sacrificed in the war. But our money and our tax dollars, and then that's when I said that's why I'm saying the it's in football, the second guy always gets flagged, right? And right now we are making a lot, because it is a lot of what the Republican Party and with the GOP and what they're doing to circumvent and what they're doing with our tax dollars, and they are essentially the second guy in the shove fest, right? And we as the people are the referees throwing the flag. I do believe that we missed
Um,
the
mm,
first
I don't think we missed anything. I don't want the framing of that at all. I think that we always called
okay.
out what things were going on. And I think that Donald Trump's first term, he put money towards war. I think every president really has, And I think we're in a time with this country where we're trying to give the people the power to question these things and really find and really demand answers as to why this is necessary, you know? So when we talk about our tax dollars and where the money is going, we can't just trust Elon Musk to go in there and say, yeah, we're going to cut and slash a billionaire to then tell you, oh, how we're going to then benefit by slashing different organizations and what he deems as necessary. And then what he does is cut, you know, child cancer research. Are you muted?
No,
What?
I'm here. You can hear
Okay,
me.
okay,
Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. What he does is cut child cancer research, and then he says he's going to give you a refund check, and it never comes. Like these are the things that they try that they've done to game you. So the framing of like, yeah, first it was Biden that put money towards a war, and then no. First of all, what we're doing right now is the same thing we've always done. However, there's been extra things added to this regime that shows the corruption on a very, very high level. So it's not like I always say, this regime of Trump right now, the second term, is extremely unique in certain facets. So the DOJ, the Department of Justice, the same people who are in charge of maintaining order, the same people that are in charge of enforcing the law. They just announced something called the Anti-Weaponization Act, right? No, excuse me, the Anti-Weaponization Fund. Okay, and just stay with me because it's gonna sound boring for a little bit, but hopefully you'll understand. But here's the simple version. Trump, before he got back into office, he sued the IRS. We talked about, I mean, you mentioned it. He sued the IRS based on them leaking his taxes. And that was an extreme stain on Trump because Trump is a very vain guy. It showed that he really wasn't a billionaire. It showed that he didn't have as much money as he thought. But this is something that typically every president previously to him willingly has releases, you know? He just wouldn't release his taxes returns. And it showed that he was also um, investing in things that were, let's say, beneficial to the people. I forget the exact thing, but I'm going to look it up in a second to find out what it revealed that he was investing in. That was, if it were during the campaign, we found out some people might not have voted for him. Put it that way. All right. It brought a lot of shame to Trump, and Trump is a very vain, superficial guy. So he drops the lawsuit because the DOJ, now that he's control of it, they have agreed to, in exchange, create a fund where nearly $2 billion are going to be put in of taxpayers' money, and that people who apply to it, if they say the government wronged them, or targeted them, they can get money for it. You know, so who gets that money? And that's the question. This brings a problem because his attorney general, Todd Blanche, who was also Trump's personal lawyer before this administration, he's running the AG. So it's essentially Trump suing himself, then approving a settlement to himself because this is his lawyer. So who qualifies for this? So any people who qualifies for this can apply, and this includes the January 6 rioters, Trump's political allies, and any people that were investigated, prosecuted, or convicted under Biden. They all can apply to get paid back with tax dollars that we paid into it, with no judge reviewing it. Just blanket statement. Hey, you feel like you've been wronged by somebody that's an enemy of Trump. Here's a blank check. We're gonna give you some money. And it's really sad because we're at a state where we have to act like this is fucking normal to some degree because he has. Go ahead.
I, I hate to stop you when you say it's okay. Let me not attack you or feel like I'm debating you.
Don't worry.
When you
You
speak,
never
when
stopped you before. Go ahead.
yeah, but I don't have the energy today. When
Okay.
you speak, no. When you speak of and say that what every president has done previously, and then we didn't say this president is unique, right?
This has not been done before.
That
Yeah.
no, that's correct. That's the unique part. That fits in the category of the unique part, absolutely. But I'm when I'm hearing the weaponization of I can make law or I can pass law or weaponization of the executive orders or the judicial branch, right?
Mhm.
It hasn't been done to this degree, right? But to say that there has been a perpetual repeating of taking advantage of the people or taking advantage of your resources, he has studied the playbook and then reinvented it. Right? Like I'm not really
So I
I,
want you to give me an example of something that's this egregious. If that's the case, if you think that, then I want you just, I'm not trying to hear you out on this.
I mean, you said as this egregious as far as just being corrupt or somebody being inept or somebody being.
You said that he
Uh,
studied the playbook and then reinvented it. So the
I mean, you
playbook
studied
of
the playbook
what?
of being corrupted, of being a corrupt politician. Absolutely,
Okay.
yes. Like we're talking about, we got Nixon, we got Reagan, we got Bush, daddy or son, right? We have a lineage of people who were able to manipulate not only
Manipulation.
their constituents. Because when you would say, I laughed when I chuckled, and you was like, if what he invested in got out, some people would have voted. I'm like, what the fuck? What didn't get out before
No, you're
that
right.
would?
You
You know
know,
what I'm saying?
but
Like, you know,
maybe
like
I'm
that.
not saying that he wouldn't have. I'm saying
No,
that some
I know.
people would have been
I'm
like,
just
oh,
right.
okay, this is something that's harming their vision of who Trump is. One, he's not this great businessman. Two, where he put his money, and where certain people at the time, especially the first term, it was less of a cult. There was really a chance that he wouldn't have won that.
But yeah,
So
but the second time we're coming off the federal indictment. We're coming off the impeachment. We're coming off. So like when we're speaking to when we're talking about bridging the gap, when we're talking about shortening the gap of ignorance, when we're talking about reaching across the aisle, 77 million people voted for this guy. When it comes to next election and they are searching, but they are lost, how do we herd them sheep? Do we lead them to, or like, what do we do for them? Like, what, like
I want to
the
get into that in a little bit later in the conversation. But because you're right, there's going to be people that are now lost after Trump, but I guarantee you there will be somebody with the same playbook. They're picking up the populism on the right. It's going to happen. And I'm not sure it's going to work because it might not be as charismatic or have the history of Trump of being on The Apprentice for years and just rocking by baby sleeping people to like, oh, I know this guy. Let me vote for him. People in America are not that politically savvy. They do vote off of what they believe they saw on TV, which is a guy firing people who's a businessman. They're not making money. Oh, he's gonna fix the economy. That he would just fall down one issue, so
well, where
everything
does
else wouldn't
morality
matter,
come in when we
huh?
talk about? And I'm not again not arguing you, but we speaking about like morality complex
I'm trying, and
of
that's what I'm trying to get to. Like I'm really trying to get to that vision, and I want to nail that home because when you talk about morality, this goes against all types of morality and how we would like a society to be and run. And I want to share a clip with you because Congressman Jasmine Crockett, who I get it, she's not everybody's cup of tea, but man, I love me some Jasmine Crockett because I do believe the absurdity of what's going on. She breaks it down like a fraction, and she gives it the attention and fervorness that I think it requires sometimes. Now, granted, it's not needed all the time, but I do believe that certain times the absurdity of what's going on, she's able to put it in blanket statement in front of people's faces. She's a smart person. She's a lawyer, so she's able to put people in a position where they expose themselves. And I want you to watch this clip because before I play it, I want you to listen specifically to how she frames what the fund actually is.
Neo-Nazis as well as Proud Boys joined in on January 6th. Yet this slush fund that they keep talking about is specifically to give them money. So how dare this majority sit here and try to lecture this organization because they decided to tear apart or attempt to tear apart our democracy. They are being rewarded. These are people that went through our criminal justice system. When people on that side of the aisle claim that they love law and order, they went through it. Well. You know, it is so hard to sit here and listen to this. That's one reason I watched the majority of this and didn't actually sit in this room because I'm sure my faces would have told everything that I was thinking. Um, Is there anyone that finds it odd? Well, can we start here? I'm gonna start with the entire panel. Are the Proud Boys a white supremacist organization? Yes or no? Starting with Miss Wiley.
It is my view they are.
It depends on how you define it. I have a book.
Okay, never mind.
It
Next.
depends on how you
It's a
define
yes
it.
or no. Proud
Oh.
Boys, how they define themselves. Are they white supremacists? Yes or no?
I have not read a description of how they
Okay,
define
that's
themselves.
fine.
I'm not on their mailing list, I don't know.
So are you only on the mailing list of,
I'm not like the
supremacists,
SPLC, I don't
or-
fund organizations that I'm
oh,
against.
it just seemed like you were saying because you haven't received their mail, you only received the mail of white supremacists. But go ahead, last witness.
No, they're not white supremacists.
And you know what? I do believe that y'all believe that. Let's try another one. Neo-Nazis, Miss Wiley.
Well, yes.
What?
Nazis is in their name. Neo-Nazis, Dr. Swain.
Is the question still about the Proud Boys, or is it about the,
Neo-Nazis. We have
Neo-Nazi-
moved on. Neo-Nazis.
neo-Nazis are hate groups, and I have a book, 2002.
Okay, thank you so much. So
about
we're
hate
gonna-
groups
so-
that I suggest that you all read.
I'm
It's a
reclaiming my
long
time.
book.
I'm reclaiming my time. Neo-Nazis. Are they white supremacists?
Neo-Nazis, are they white supremacists?
Yes or no?
What's that?
Yes or no?
They're certainly anti-Semitic, which I would join with any member of the Democratic Party. Mr. Nadler earlier was talking about standing up
Okay,
for the Jewish
reclaiming
people.
my time.
Be happy
Next.
to do that.
Yes, they're white supremacists.
Woo, thank God. Jesus Christ, I didn't think we were going to get there. Oh my gosh, let me be clear. Proud Boys are freaking white supremacists. Neo-Nazis are too. And this president, who loves to coddle white supremacists, has decided that they should be given checks. The reasons that I pointed to those particular organizations is because you can go and read, I don't know how many articles, as Dr. Swain wants people to read up. I'm going to be clear. I've read my fair share of books. I do have my fair share of degrees. It is clear that neo-Nazis.
We have to come to terms with the facts. We are sitting in a time where, not that it's any different than other times, but it's a blatant white supremacy being what's a good word for this? Being funded essentially, you know. What I hate I hate the playing dumb that we're doing in America today.
Well,
I
well,
hate the playing dumb. I hate the what you gonna say? Sorry.
well, I'm gonna say it's it's frustrating to think that things are new when the Ku Klux Klan isn't registered. You know what I'm saying? But the Black Panther Party was,
Yeah.
right? 'Cause, like, you know what I mean. COINTELPRO was
Hmm.
was based off of, So when you
And I'm
have
get
the
and I'm with you because I knew that was coming and
so the dumbness the when we say everything is racist yesterday, and we talk about like back to the playbook, right? Of Trump has studied this playbook. He studied this playbook. He knows rural America. He knows Mar-a-Lago, right? He knows that because he lived in New York and is progressive, he's not going to get anywhere with a Mandani right now. He knows he has to go elsewhere to sell this. It's almost, again, I use the drug dealer analogy, right? When everybody know where you from, got some bum ass weed, nigga, you can't sell that shit from where you from. But you definitely can go to where they don't have nothing at all, and you can get it off. You know what I'm saying? Like, so no disrespect to Cam, when Cam used to say I used to get it all, I get it in Ohio. That's exactly what Trump is doing. Literally, like Trump is going off and getting it in Ohio right now, basically.
Um,
By
you
go
know,
ahead.
I hate the playing dumb we do in America when it comes to race. I truly do hate it. Um, we there's a level of gaslighting that is I don't even understand how it exists in today's day in 2026. If we've taught people to try to understand that um, you should not be going out of your way to harm somebody based on prejudice and race and all. If you taught your kids that, as we know, people are not teaching their kids that. But to not be able to call out the Proud Boys and neo Nazis in a congressional hearing is, as white supremacists, is the bare minimum. Is the absolute bare minimum. The problem and the reason why I like the way she tackled it and framed it that way is because it's showing because if they do say yes, they're white supremacists, and then we then see these niggas are trying to now get funds, it puts this whole entire you know administration in the it just confirms what we already know, right? About them. It's just a racist regime. We already talked about it a couple weeks ago where I said, listen, this guy, Donald Trump, acts like he's the president of only people who support him. And
Yeah,
he acts like he's the president of only half of or even less than half of the country because I don't believe most of the country likes this guy. I don't. I think most of the country didn't vote, honestly. I think most of the country is disenfranchised with the process of even believing that a candidate is going to change anything. I think most of the country is frustrated and apathetic to the current landscape, political landscape. So it's like, man, I don't even have the the gumption to get up and cast a ballot for this shit because it's absurd. Um, but I want to break it down to you guys. Listen, if this was the Black Panther Party and we took the George Floyd riots to the White House or to Capitol, right, and started a riot and we started to bum rush the Capitol and break windows, um, somebody ended up dying, and we were assaulting cops. If we did that, would there be a fund where we can go get our legal fees paid? I think we all know the answer to that question. And if you know the answer to that question and you're not calling out the corruptness of this administration, you are on
well,
the wrong side of history.
it's
Period.
hard to say that. It's hard to say that when history is. No, hold on. It's what I'm saying is from not. It's hard to say you're on the wrong side of history for them when the history is on their side. For them, when I'm not in no way, shape, or form trying to agree with you or oppose your. What I'm saying is when we're speaking a matter of fact, and you're saying people are apathetic. That's because when you just ask that question and you say we all know this answer, we're talking about if we do the math of 2026 and 1964, that's only 70 years of a civil right of a person. So to your point of
Yes.
history,
But
right?
when we
And
teach it, and the reason why it's such an impactful bill, and that's why we still talk about it, is because we all, well, not all, the government was, whether by force or by coercion or whatever, or revelation of, we can't treat people this way. And there was a amount of accountability that we need to change the way of order in this country because it's not gonna work. And I think we're on the precipice of that again, bro. I do think we're on the precipice of something similar. I can't tell you how it's going to change. I can't tell you what it is, but I get a sense of people are being fed up. And when I'm talking about the raw side of history, is you are either on the side of Nazis, racists, bigots, or you're calling that shit out. There is no in between. That's where we're at.
Yeah,
We are
and I think
run by a racist. We are run by a corrupt racist who does not care about anybody else but himself. Let's be real. If you are a Trump supporter, he does not care about you.
unless you can do something for him, because that right. So we are seeing right now when he's going to China and he's taking what our most influential people, our CEOs of tech companies, our billionaires, when he's taking them over to China, like he is working in a subset of a circle of, again, to your point, if it's altruistic, no. We know he's not doing nothing for the greater good of the people. And to your point, those who are in support of that, who are on that plane, are also the ones who are carrying out the mission,
Mhm.
right? And when and again, I am not trying to oppose what we're talking about, but Donald Trump is a racist and a bigot and a misogynist and clearly a sexual predator, according to, like, he is all of those things. So when you
And
have
when we
people
talk about
who
the morality, and that's what, like, like when you talk about the morality, what I'm trying to put the onus is on anybody who's watching this. I'm putting the onus on us. Where do you stand? Where do you lie in your hearts, in hearts of hearts? Is it okay for a group of men to bum rush the Capitol, fight police officers, and then get pardoned, and then get money? Just really think that through.
if we and for their scenario, no. When you use our scenario, I'm gonna say yes.
What do you mean our scenario?
When you asked if the Black Panther Party was still around, or if we took the George Floyd riots and because it was, it will be, I'm not taking this shit no more riot. It would be
All right, so
legitimately
we
like,
so we go to we harm people, we vandalize, we get locked up, and then we should get pardoned, in your
when we
opinion.
talk, uh, if we are having a real
Yeah, well, we are.
psychological psychoanalysis conversation, what will make those people do that? I'm talking about the Black people. If we're talking about the history of us, the history of our people, the history of the torment, the history of the torture, the history of the lack of humanity, the history of it all, and the people snapped and do something vicious, vile, and against the Constitution, if the fucking government comes back and say, they had a point, we never took care of them like we were supposed to. I'm just talking about our scenario. Now, when we're talking
Let
about
me
the
ask you
Proud Boys,
something. Do
go
you
ahead.
believe that there are other people on that side who think that they had a point, that the
No, I
election was
think the
stolen?
people. No, I think the people I think the people who did it on their side had an opportunity and a green light and used their act of violence to carry out uh, 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 um, a manifesto, right? Essentially, and the reason why I'm sticking here is because when we are talking about white supremacy and we're talking about races, I do not want to say it ain't some niggas on that front line too. So when you call it a white supremacist group, unfortunately, that will be their kickback because they gonna do. We got some black friends with us too. That
Black
will be their own.
people are white supremacists too. That's period. There are
Okay.
black people that are white supremacists. There are
Right.
Spanish people that are white supremacists. Have you ever seen? I don't even like saying his fucking name, but Myron Gaines on the Fresh and Fit podcast. Ever seen that podcast?
Is that the nigga that tucks his t-shirt in his jeans or something like that?
I don't
He
know
can't. Yeah.
about his t-shirt and his jeans, but there's a nigga who is from somewhere from Africa, Ethiopia. I forget what he is, but he's basically in these Proud Boys white spaces on Twitter saying, yeah, this country should be a white country. Yeah, I think that, yeah, we should keep it that way. You know, primarily white. It's better that way. This is a black man or looks like a black man. I don't know what he really is, but he don't be talking like no black guy, man, you know, and he's a white supremacist. He's stupid
What would make somebody that is not white be a white supremacist is a question that I would like to
because they
dive
hate
in.
themselves. Because they don't like
So that's
black
a mental,
people.
so that's a mental illness.
Maybe it is. Maybe it
That's a
is.
mental. That's a mental, and that's the reason why that's the reason why I'm not shooting bail, but I am having the extrapolation of the conversation because when Jasmine is beating down this point, you do have the black lady on there. It's like, well, I don't know if it qualifies for it, and she's doing because in her mind, she is a supporter of
I
what
wrote a
it is
book.
going
Like,
on. I wrote a book in 2002, is what she said. Are you crazy? That's an
listen,
artifact.
man.
A
Listen, try.
2002
This
book.
is not for your pushing your book, bro. We're not here to get no free pub on your book,
That's
old
the thing.
lady.
I'm
I'm
reclaiming
sorry.
my
I asked
time.
you a yes or no question.
She said, "I'm reading the books. I'm reclaiming my time."
I'm
Next, no
reclaiming
one.
my time. Basically, shut up. Please shut up. Yo, you know,
No, that's
honestly,
the and that's the that's why
so
that's the
yeah,
moral
there are black people who are white supremacists.
and that's the moral compass that I'm talking about. Right now we're talking about white black men, Latino men, white men, right? That follow. He's a businessman. Okay, that's ignorant. Okay, fine. We chalk that up. You don't read the New York Times. You don't read the Business Journal. You don't. You get your shit. I chalk that up. When they say on Epstein files, everybody we don't support none of that with kids. We don't support none of that with sexual assault. Listen, there were never. I can guarantee there is no smut on the name of me for a sexual advance or assault or anything of that nature because it's and my guys around me, it can't be nothing on their jacket
Yeah,
either.
none of my guys around me
It's
are
no
on that type of
bacchus.
timing.
It's
Yo,
no
there's
bacchus.
no Bacchus. Got a weird case. None of that around me, dog. Why are they still around? If they if they are, then why are they still around? Why Epstein still around, Trump, as of 2011? Like what? You know, so why are you on his plane so much? Why are you so much in the Epstein file? Like these questions have not
They
gotten any
sent
answers.
they sent thank you, I love you letters to like last night was amazing texts and
Melania
emails.
was mad tight with Ghislaine, you know, and we let this shit slide. And the reason why I'm talking about morality right now because it's all in our face now. It's on you to make a choice. It's on whoever watches this to make a choice. We
Yep.
need good people to stand the fuck up. We need good people to wake up and stand up. This country is being taken by freaking demons, bro. By freaking demons.
And
Good
it's not like they haven't. This like these are new formed like these are Zen demons for all my 2K niggas. These niggas Zened up. These demons right here is all green, my nigga. Chicka-da-bop-bop.
They're 99 overalls. For real.
Bop-bop-bop.
So what we got to ask ourselves, what do we stand for? And a lot of it has to come from us, and we have to be able to ask more from our people who lead us. Absolutely, 100%. We have to protest. We have to stand up. And I'm not for law, the rule of law being subverted because of what we went through. I mean, I disagree with you on that when it comes to. But then again, I'm not. I hear where you're coming from 100%. Like if that happened, God bless the government for pardoning black people for rioting. 100%.
On
I'm
me.
with that.
On
But
me, cuz.
I do believe that there's a moral high ground that we have to keep at some point to not make sure society completely is in disarray. Clearly, we cannot turn into the Trump regime because we've been unjust, and that's when it comes to the
You
moral
don't believe in
choice that you make as a
destroy and
human being.
rebuild?
Huh?
You don't believe in destroy and rebuild?
It's a matter of how you do it. It's a matter of how you do it.
How do you tear everything down without demolition?
It's
You can't take a brick off layer by layer and make it neat, bro. That's
There's
not
gonna
how
need to
that
be a
works.
complete revamp of the Supreme Court. There's gonna be a complete revamp of how we govern and how we um, move through the Senate and House, and it takes people who are not beholden to be silent. That's why I fuck with Jasmine Crockett so much because she is putting herself at risk every time she does this, bro.
Uh,
And
Are we
what
going to be able to change the Supreme? Are we going to be able to change the way that they've been operating for we talk history, right? Supreme, like how are we going to be able? And like the boomers are raising the people to take their spot
we have
to
to
have
fight
the
back.
same ideology.
We have to fight back. The conservative mindset is not really conservative. It's just about money. Let's be real. It's like you conservatives in poor towns in the Midwest or anywhere down south, wherever you are, they do not care about you. They do not care about you. The conservative people who are in the House of Representatives, in the Senate, in the Supreme Court are there to uphold the billionaire class and uphold their power. You have to look into your heart and your brain to decipher what is morally right. What is morally right? You can't be picking sides other than the side of good versus evil at this point. And when we talk about white people, we need good white people who are gonna be honest, who are gonna be not blind, who are not going to have this cavalier attitude when it comes to this history of this country and race. Shit, I have another video here of these white women being checked about their colorblindness. Let me see if I can recenter this for you. I didn't even plan on showing this today, but I got sent this by my sister. Shout out to my sister. And it's an interesting video.
Of everyone at this table who is racist. So I saw a couple people surprised that I raised my hand. When I said that I was racist, I'm racist against black people. So it's institutional. Indians are institutionally racist against black people.
I don't see color. I don't see, so how she said, I'm blinded to color. Like, it doesn't faze me at all. Y'all, when we bleed red.
I'm just gonna drop the bomb here. That's white supremacy. Color blindness is white supremacy.
Just said that the
Do
other
not
day.
teach your kids to be colorblind. Do not talk about color blindness. Don't say that I don't see the color of your skin and we cut ourselves open, it's bleeding red.
If you're going to cry, leave the table and go into the living room there. When a white woman starts crying, what happens?
All the attention is when I was in Charleston, South Carolina last summer, I get into my lift and the guy turned around and looked at me and he said, "Lady, because I hate to have to say this to you, but if I get pulled over, you're just another black woman," and he's black. And he said, "Put your hands up, do as they say, do not make any trouble."
You actually told me that.
Yeah, of course, of course.
That's the life he lives, and that's his reality.
But that's his reality. She's working worried that her kids are gonna die. I cannot remember a time that I have not woken up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat. I want to ask also to stop acting shocked. So part of white feminism is acting so surprised when we tell you.
But it is, why are you telling us not to act the way that we act? It is surprising. To me, that is surprising.
That upholds white supremacy. Why are your feelings so hurt? Why are your feelings more important than the reality of the violence of our lives?
You walk through the world with a different experience because you are a white woman.
So I can't sit here. You gotta go. Sorry, sis.
I think I have a little bit of a problem with the we versus I. I think that there is the big perpetual we, right? We white women for sure. But I think there's also we African Americans and we were slaves, right? And these things happen to us. It doesn't happen to everybody, right? I mean, and you, I understand, and I am here.
It happened to all African Americans. Yeah.
It didn't happen to you.
Listen. One of the things that we know, let me just say.
I have a lot of Native American history, and I don't take advantage of any of that.
Time out. Are you saying that black people, African Americans, descendants of slaves, are taking advantage of that? You just said
That's not what I'm saying.
At these dinners, we see white women behaving badly, and that bad behavior looks like denial of white supremacy.
We need none of that. We need none of that. We need to honestly be honest about the history of this country. And this is not on some victim shit, bro. It's just about this is what happened. So act like it. Act like it with your friends. Act like it with your family. And keep it in the forefront of your mind whenever you're talking about people like us. Because I think that the cognitive dissonance of being able to be blind, willfully ignorant, is how we get people like fucking Trump in office. That's going to ruin the entire country. Throw us in wars that we don't need to be in. Do corrupt policies here and there. Give money to people who are criminals. Pardon people who are child molesters and rapists. Like, these are the things.
Bro, and they got out and did the same thing.
Exactly.
They got out and did the same thing. You wasted a get out of jail legitimately, literally. You fucked up. You did some air. I'm blanking on the word.
Reprehensible?
Thank you. You know where I was trying to go.
I don't know how I got that one. But
That's telepathy. That's being my brother. You're like so repulsive. Like you get found guilty, you nasty, dirty, filthy, stanky dog. And somebody comes to the pound and say, "Oh, I like that cute little mutt right there. He can get out the cage." And he gives you a get out of jail free card. And what your ass do? Oh, I'm gonna go on Roblox today, you fucking idiot.
Weirdos, man.
Weirdos.
No. It's really sick. And I gotta keep saying, like, we need good people to stand up. It's good white, black, Latino, Asian, whatever you are. This is a group of white women, and they're flat out acting like slavery doesn't matter. Like, that's not the energy we need. We need people who see that, hey, for this country to live by the values that we were taught, or that we want to, the world we want to be, the truth, where we don't see color and all that bullshit. Listen, if you really want that for society, you have to see color first. If you truly want that for society, you're going to have to see how they tilt the playing field towards a certain color. How they corrupt things in favor of a certain color. Because the reason why you want to say colorblind is because you are that color, and you don't want to accept the benefits you get from that color, and you want to act as if it's even when it's not.
Well, the benefits that they receive, but that's again, this goes back to that's a bliss. That's
Some
a
people.
bliss. No, it's not when it's taught. Not when we having a conversation about Greek mythology and Helen from and it is written in the first conceptual text of the world that people with darker skin was hated by God. That is something that has been repeated through time
Yep.
and time and
Religious
time
texts,
and time,
mythology.
bro.
The world hates people with black skin for some reason. It's not, and guess what? Guess what? Black skin don't exist. We're brown. We were taught that we're black. We use that word like that's reality.
But
It's
that's the
just
color blind. But that's the color blindness to the. That's the color
we're dark
blindness.
brown. That's what we really are. But we're just a different shade of wheat. I remember one guy said, "Listen, we're all just shades of wheat," and I'm like, "Man, that's profound, yo." Because we really are. We're all just different shades of wheat, and we act like it's like this big like demarcation. Now, granted, the culture
But
changes and all that
but
stuff, but
it is when we go into the grocery store and all wheats are not the same price because some wheats are seemed more enriched. Some wheats come from a different part of the land of the country, or is it is so even in that analogy, we can still say, well, my wheat is better. You know, the grain of my wheat, the trimming of my wheat, how it's processed, and like it something can always be extracted to say I'm better than someone. And when we are talking about things that have been taught, think about affirmative action. When the first thing we think about affirmative action, we think about black people having an opportunity, right? Rooney Rule, having an opportunity, right? Who benefited more from fucking affirmative action? White
white
fucking
woman.
women? Cause the bitch you couldn't work before us, ho. Who the Rooney Rule worked for more than the fucking who the Rooney Rule worked for according to fucking Bomani Jones? White men. So even the shit that's supposed to be eradicated is then perpetuated, right? White women took the fucking lead of black people entirely.
And they
Entirely.
still not
It
getting what
was
they deserve. And let's be real, they're going so hard for this conservatism and trad wife bullshit and loving Trump for literally get to be shit on by the administration. You know,
I mean, of course. So when you say what he was invested in and stuff like that, the guy was grabbing by the pussy, and white women voted for it, bro. He was grabbing by the pussy in 2016, and white women voted for him.
and white women have to, and any woman, but white women in particularly, if this guy, if your daughter was at one of these pageants and this guy thought he could grab her by the pussy, how would you feel? And would you then say, that guy who grabbed my daughter by the pussy, I want that guy to lead the entire country? Is that what you guys wanted? Because that's what you fucking got. You know, and that like logical loop, I don't get how they don't see it, you know? And but there's multiple examples of this moral fallacies, these moral fucking potholes, and they can't break through. That's why I do have some kind of reverence for people who do break through out of that fucking circle, like the Jenny
Well,
Chick, because it's not easy. I can see that to get out of a brainwashing cult.
or we can just simplify it and say, I don't want to be fucking stupid anymore.
It's not that simple for some people, bro. You got family, you got kids, you got all your whole life you've built up in this community, right? And you literally have to disown certain people to leave everything you know to live righteously and not be stupid because it goes against everything you've been taught. To us, yeah, it's stupid, but when you've grown up in it, it's just like water to
Well,
a fish.
I'm using this, and I know this might be super simplistic, but we have men and women who change religion, right? Based off of I learned something I didn't know yesterday, right? So we have women and men waking up from 10, 15, 20-year marriages and be like, you know what? This doesn't fulfill me anymore. Right? We have several examples of a switch clicking for people because you can just wake up one day and be like, this doesn't suit me. And
But
for those
typically, what is
people,
what? Oh, I'm sorry, let me cut you off. I want to
go
ask a
ahead.
question.
Yeah.
What spurs that on though? That awakening, and that's the key of. It's an emotion. It's a feeling. It's something within that happened. It's typically not. Oh, some guy on a podcast like me and you just said something, and they're like, "Oh, no." Usually, you've gone through some fuck shit.
No, it's a contradiction. Usually what happens, usually, I'll speak from a religion standpoint, usually it'll be a contradiction. Or
It's
an
something that just
Amer
doesn't fit to the
it, yeah,
vision you had of it. That
a
there's nothing
division
you
that I
you
have.
can't get over that. Okay.
And I would say, speaking of homies that have been in relationships or whatever the case may be, or even not even speaking of my own, just being personable, you look at and be like compatibility. You know what I'm saying? That's something like to follow an ideology of something, you really do have to go with the get along. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like you know what I mean? Like for happy wife, happy life, a man slugs through it. A wife who goes through an abusive relationship slugs through it. There is a real like, nah, this don't work today. Not today. And realistically, it's sad that when we break down about what you said, having a daughter go, because majority of the people who voted, I'm pretty sure, have kids. Majority of the people who voted have kids. We talk about the numbers of women who voted. We talk about women putting yourself in a POV and take that. That's the point of that video. A person, and I don't necessarily want to put it on a white woman, because I want to put it on society as
No,
well,
society. That's
humanity
why
as
I
well.
started first
Because
with
you because
good
you
people.
can't you
People have
usually
to make a
can't take
choice.
yourself out of your circumstance and your situation and your prejudice or point of view of it or idea and put yourself in somebody else's thought process in the way that they have to maneuver through the choices that they have,
And
and
I,
that's real difficult.
and you call me a bleeding heart, and I get it. Like, but I'm extremely empathetic, bro, when I see things. That's why I can't just say kill this person, or I can't just say yeah we should, yeah what's good for them is good for us too. I can't. I gotta put it in a perspective of what is the end goal? What is the really the highest form of society? What is the highest form of being a human being in America? The highest form to me is logically is a society where there is less crime, people have a living wage. We are not judging people by the skin color. We are genuinely working together to make things better for us. That we're not falling for propaganda and lies that are meant to divide us. We are seeking out information to grow and learn. And if anybody hears that message from me, I pray that they have that vision as well, because it's not about pigeonholing just women or even billionaires or white men. It's about saying, can you be a person that is going to be a part of making tomorrow a better America for everybody? Not just for you and your kids, not just for people who look like you, not just for people who make who's in your tax bracket, for everybody. And what does that cost? Are you willing to pay that cost? And that's a question we all have to ask ourselves. I'm trying to find ways I can do even better, and just not just talking on a podcast. What can I do once I get myself in a better standing in my community, um, to help out, And I'm looking into that, and I'm trying to find ways so I can be more active. But everybody has a responsibility because we have to lead the government. We have to lead the government, and there's going to be a
But
way.
see, that's the comp. So when we talk about, there's two types of people. you have people who want to instruct the government how they want to do things, and you have other people who want the government. Now, when you get into there, you have when the people who want to instruct the government, we don't have the same way that we want to instruct the government, right?
Hmm.
So
But
then there,
but the basis of what I'm trying to say is, I don't mean to cut you off, but the basis is what is best for everybody. You cannot come into this conversation being a racist. You have to accept that America is a land of immigrants. First and foremost, you are an immigrant if you're not a Native American. If you're not Navajo, Cherokee, then you are an immigrant. I'm sorry, but it's true. I don't care if you have the majority numbers and you're a white male in this country making millions of dollars, or if you are a poor black kid, you are an immigrant on some level. Somewhere along the line, you were brought here, or you came here, or your ancestors came here at some point. We have to accept people that are different than us in this country. This is a very unique country. Part of our strength is the diversity. Honestly, it's the only reason why we became a world power is because of the diversity. So we're not going to turn ourselves back freaking 600 years and say now kick everybody out that looks different. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to start from a standpoint of acceptance and tolerance, and then you got to start from that point to say what is the right way to govern from there. What is the right way to? How do we reduce crime for everybody? I'm not going to pigeonhole and target just black people and say they're the crime people when we know damn well there's way more murder rates in the Midwest, and all the red states have way more death rates and murder rates, and they don't even get health care as much as the cities. We have to fix all that. But this is not even about statistics and pointing a finger. It's just facts. So we point at the reason why they point at the inner city and Chicago and all this stuff is because they want to ignore the fact that people are killing each other in fucking Utah. Opioid crises.
yeah, yeah. No, no, no.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, no. Utah doing some other things out there. you, 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 Utah, along on the stuff we look
No,
down
but my
on.
point is the death
Yeah.
rate is higher in these red states. So y'all are dying out here for racism, literally, for bolstering a racist regime, bro. It's
Bro, they
sad.
don't. But I mean, that's why I call you a bleeding heart. Because when you say it's sad, you got this. For me, if we can't, if we can't knock them off, let natural selection of stupidity do it. I don't. Like because
But I'm trying to speak to
there's
the people who are not stupid,
well,
who might have
I
made the
think the
wrong
people.
decision, who might have who are trying to see and
I'm
who
gonna
are
be honest.
invested in what's going on in politics. There are people
I
that have no idea what's going on with this fund. Most people actually have no clue this is happening. But the
well,
people
I
who
think no, no, no. I was just gonna say, I'm not to disrespect what you were saying. It's to your point, like you said, it's not gonna be. We're a call to action podcast. We're not gonna not say it. So I'm not
yeah.
trying to say, but it's not gonna be our voice. It is going to be something, and it might not even be this fun. I think it might be something that I'm gonna show you with my video that might change the idea. I think it might be um um uh 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 yeah I it's going to have to be personal, unfortunately,
Yeah, for a
because
lot of people it will
everybody
be. Correct.
for a real for enough of it
To make a
to
difference.
change
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't want you to seem like you're wasting your breath by
I'm gonna waste
speaking.
my breath. I
I
know
know,
myself. I can't help it. But go
I
ahead.
know, but I know what you're like you said with that fun, people are but it's gonna be the flock cameras that's gonna change people. Like it's gonna be
You would
the
hope.
non-drinking water. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna like things that impact real, because right here, us saying the tax money going to the Proud Boys and the white supremacists and stuff like that, to be quite honest, that's money going in their pockets sometimes. If we keep it in a buck, that's not going to change their
That's my cousin.
ideology. It's not going to change their ideology if it's lying in their pockets. What's going
I
to
try to
happen
break
is
it
when
down
Timmy,
and get people to realize we're on the fucking same team. Like, and I think that's where like me and you sometimes are, come from a different angle, and I get it because I'm not trying to. A lot of people won't see it my way. Go see it because we're not really. In actuality, we're not. We want different things and all that stuff. But I believe that if you are an American, you should first come from the standpoint of, even though somebody disagrees with me, we're on the same team. I want them to live a happy life. And I think that's what's being lost sometimes in these conversations is that even if we disagree on abortion, doesn't mean I think that you are a piece of shit, dumbass, and you shouldn't live. And I don't care if you guys live or die. That extreme it's too much. The division is
I
too
know, but
much.
that's true. But if again, if I'm brainwashed and I believe that killing a baby is bad, and I don't believe in science because I'm not good at school, like I am stuck. I'm stuck until I'm pregnant by somebody who raped me, and then I want to go get an abortion, but I live in a state
And
that don't
yes, I
offer it,
don't believe
and
in
I
her
gotta do.
because I feel like that's sad. I do feel like that's sad.
I know,
Even though they chose the wrong path. I feel like
nothing.
it's bad, like it's sad. Like, I genuinely feel like we have to save people from themselves sometimes even. But
Damn, I should have said grape. I should have said grape.
yeah,
Damn,
it's okay. Grape from now on. We're graping it up. Sorry,
good grape.
pause.
Yeah,
We're not
yeah.
graping anything. But go ahead and
Not
introduce your topic because you're right. It might take
not
something that hits home. It might take something that hits home because it seems like that's the only way certain people are going to change.
So I have this video here, and it says this is drinking water in Georgia. Looks like after this is what drinking water in Georgia looks like after Meta began data center construction and the community. And before I go into anything else other than Georgia, we spoke about Georgia a few times in this podcast previously. So
Georgia,
shout out to Killer Mike.
Georgia.
You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to
Shout out
Killer
to Killer
Mike.
Mike. Shout out to
Yeah,
Stacey Abrams doing her thing. And shout out
Keisha
to
Bottoms.
Keisha Bottoms. You know what I'm saying? Keisha
Congratulations.
Bottoms. She won the primary for the Democratic Party for the government race out there in Georgia. So hopefully, with what AOC is speaking about the water in Georgia, Keisha Bottoms can then use as a on her platform to be like, hey, I will help get clean water. Hey, Keisha
100%.
Bottoms, run on the campaign of
Yes.
my people need clean water to drink.
Facts.
Make it that simple. Don't go after Trump. Don't do none of that, please. Talk about the people in Georgia needing clean water because what AOC is presenting, if you can get people behind you to want to get these data centers and these billionaires to pay taxes to get them out to not fuck up the streams of running water that helps you, get behind Keisha Bottoms, please. All right, here we go.
I have a jar right here. This is the current drinking water in Morgan County, Georgia. Right after a data center was constructed, the Meta data center was constructed, the only difference between the clean water and this was that data center. I have another one as well. So this wasn't just one well. These wasn't just one family's situation. This is what the drinking water now looks like next to that data center. And I think both of us can agree that neither one of these things are drinkable. These families now have to ship, in a rural area, have to ship water to their house in order to cook and bathe themselves. Now, I'm curious if the EPA plans any investigations on how data centers are affecting water quality and availability. I understand what you said about the rule, but are there going to be any open investigations on this issue?
So as soon as I get back to the office, I will be looking into exactly what you've just talked about, because anywhere, whatever type of construction it is a priority to ensure that water quality standards established by EPA are being met. And so we'll be looking into that certainly.
Thank you.
Big
I
ass blazer.
sincerely appreciate that because I think this is of utmost importance, and we're seeing this happening across the country. I'd also like to ask about the administration's push to build more data centers by fast tracking construction. Because the administration's been issuing executive orders to fast track data center construction when we know that water quality is encountering major issues. Are there any mandates for data centers to do water quality testing prior to construction?
Of like coming from a public water supply, drinking water supply sampling?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I'm not aware of anything like that. However, it doesn't mean I'm just not aware of it. Might exist,
Yes,
but I'm
of
not.
course. I think it's important that, you as an agency official, we have to make sure we're doing these investigations. And then us on a congressional level, I'd like to note that I think it's of utmost importance that we also launch congressional investigations into this matter as well, so that we can partner with the EPA and ensure that the drinking water for this country continues to be safe and accessible for the American people. So thank you, Administrator.
Thank you, AOC. Before you leave that, you can zoom out or not, not zoom out, but you know what I mean. Go down to the comment section.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Uh-huh.
Keep going. Go
Keep
down.
going.
Keep going. Wait.
Is this it?
No. Is that the comment section for the same video, or is that a new tweet?
Yeah. This is a new tweet, but these
No,
are
go.
comments under the video.
Okay. All right, keep going.
Yeah.
Go back up.
Which one?
Okay. And keep going. Keep going now. There was an anti-AOC tweet in this comment section. Yeah, I know AOC is retarded. The funny thing that she thinks the rest of us are too. There is not a chance in hell that she don't like that she poured the jar from any tap water in the entire state. Click that one. This is what people are saying. Dumbass niggas like this. Scroll down, and he's getting roasted. He's getting killed. Scroll down further until you see a video. Play that.
This video?
Yeah.
This one? Okay.
So just for people who think that she's lying.
Where Trump got over 70% of the vote. I first met Beverly and Jeff Morris a year ago. They live 400 yards from Meta's 2.5 million square foot data center campus in Morgan County, Georgia, where Trump got over 70% of the vote. Now I'm back this time with Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to find out if one of the most progressive Democrats in the country can connect with the people being left behind by the data center boom.
Our water situation is worse. The water that we're getting into the house is worse, and we're all on wells. So when that's affected,
You'll see it on the map
Yeah.
inside. There's just this large area that is the recharge, sort of where the water is under the ground.
The Morrises and their neighbors haven't had clean water from their wells since Meta construction began.
We've seen this playbook before from big companies. This is pretty night and day. The only thing that changed was that spot opening up across the street, right? Nothing else.
Oh, yeah.
When you try to talk to these big tech companies behind these things, the Zuckerbergs and the Jeff Bezos, Amazon, do you think that they have any empathy for what's happening?
Well, one of the reasons why I certainly wanted to come out here is because when you're stuck in Washington and these issues come up, you get a bunch of lobbyists that come down and they tell you that it's all fake. They tell you that the water issues are actually not that serious. They say, all this stuff is kind of like an urban legend and it's really not that bad. Obviously, you guys don't have a lobbyist in Washington. No.
Seeing what you saw this weekend, does it rise to the level of a congressional inquiry?
Absolutely. You're looking at a water recharge area connected to an aquifer that can affect and is connected to the water supply of an entire state, times every state that a data center is in. That absolutely merits and rises to the level of national congressional investigation.
This is the first time I've heard
You said okay?
anyone
Yeah.
come forward and say,
Okay.
we need to stop this.
What was it like hearing from
Damn.
AOC and meeting her?
It's not what I expected, really. It was a good surprise. I mean, I think it went real well. I feel like she cares about our situation.
There's just a lot of controversy around.
So, to what that speaks to, you hear the twang, you see the skin. They in Georgia. We don't want to cast no aspersions on anybody. But what I'm trying to tell you is that those are the people who are going to get their mind changed. And it's upon the politicians to do the groundwork, to go down there, to talk and see and touch and feel those people, to see what it is that they're going through, and then bring it back. I think one of the biggest things that we might have to, the biggest thing that's going to have to change is lobbyists and that like there's the billionaires take your money, go to Mars, buy all the Rolls Royces you want. Just don't influence politicians and policies, bro.
This is why we need people like AOC in office. Like, shout out to the Boricua from the Bronx coming down to Georgia and checking to see if these good people can actually drink cold water. People that probably didn't like her before she came down there, and saying, you know what, I want to help them anyways. You know, this is the bleeding heart feelings that we need, the notions that we need to have, even for people who are against us, even for people who are suffering, and saving these people from themselves. He said he was very surprised, by meeting her, and he thinks it went very well. So when you get to meet somebody and they're coming out here to really change your life in a positive way, yeah, you're right. Those are the things that will kind of like really change the minds and hearts of people. I hope that video gets out to all the AOC haters who think that she's just some dumb bartender from the Bronx, and sees that, if she can make a change in their lives, maybe she can make a change in our lives as well. We don't have Trump coming down there to check on these guys. As a matter of fact, he said flat out, I don't have time for this shit. I don't have time for you lose money. The affordability crisis, no, I don't deal with that. I don't think about that at all when it comes to what I'm doing with the war and where I'm putting my money for the war. So with all that being said, I just hope people are a little bit more aware and can grow in their awareness as we get closer and closer to the midterms, and as we get closer and closer to the 2028 election. Because the evidence is right in front of your face of the people who care about this country advancing in a better place and who doesn't care, who's just going to give you lip service.
Well, I think the thing about we talked about yesterday, with Bezos though, lip service can work, bro.
Unfortunately,
So, again, that's what I'm saying. Like niggas who ain't never seen a bad bitch, niggas who been abstinent, niggas who been celibate, nigga, like anything that little whisper on your collar can get you going. That man approaching you, opening your door, buying your drink when you just down, and he like somebody can open up the floodgates with you with a conversation. And I'm using that analogy because the sweet talking, right? We've all fell to it, whether it is romantically or through the government, right? We're saying we're going to do these things for again Trump. We're saying we're going to do these things for when I get in office. We're going to release the Epstein files after I do some redacting and sent. Right? You know, when I get in office, we're going to make Trump phones that are made in China. That's why I gotta go to them real quick and see if I can get some manufacturer. When I'm gonna have Mexico build the wall. How the fuck you gonna have them build the wall? With our money? They coming over here getting our money from selling drugs.
We're gonna reduce the price of eggs, reduce the price of gas, all that shit.
Everything went up, cuz.
And I think that people need to ask themselves, people who are now seeing the light, you gotta ask yourselves, why were you duped? Why did it work on you? Like, what was your biases that worked against you? If you are coming
I,
out of this,
I
you
grew
know,
up. I grew up and it benefited me. I grew up and it benefited me until I don't have clean water. It grew up and it benefited me until I was the one that got flagged for having something on my computer and it fucked up my life, but it's just the same name as somebody else that lived around the corner.
you know,
Like it's gonna take some shit like that. You be like, wait, y'all coming to get me? Y'all ain't gonna get the nigga in Washington? It's gonna take niggas like that to get
but when you
upset.
grow up, the bad chick or the other smooth talker guy can't just whisper sweet nothings in your ear because you're learning too much at that point. When you're growing up, it's about action. You need to show up and then show improve. It's not just about words. And I think that you mentioned that yesterday with the Jeff Bezos contest. It's about that action. So hopefully we get more people like AOC who's showing us some action. Not only just going there to show face. You saw that in the first video. She brought that shit to congressional hearing and saying, "Hey, EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, what's up? What's up? You know, what's up with this jar of water over here in Georgia? Are you looking into this? Oh, you're gonna go back and do that now? Okay, thank you. Please get on that
Okay,
right now."
because you didn't do that before. Okay, bet.
Yeah, exactly. So I love that we're seeing that in real time, bro. And that's what
And
we get
speaking
here.
about it in real
Yeah, exactly.
exactly.
So shout out to AOC. I mean, and people like her, people like Jabba Crockett, these strong, women who are fighting for Americans, regardless of who you voted for. They are going to call truth to power, and it's something that should be lauded. And just what I'm saying.
Absolutely. And and as we talk about things that being called and bringing attention to, uh, there's no real transition into something like this, but
Sorry.
it isn't, because as you said, as you get older, and I have 3 boys, and I go to anger management you see the Semper Fidelis as a Marine. I didn't serve in theater, so I don't want anybody to think that I have PTSD or anything like that. But I want y'all motherfuckers to go to Paris Island and they come back and say, ain't no shit going on with you, cuz, you know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is, as a man, dealing with your emotions and how to regulate them. Um, and how to take accountability, how to take rejection, how to take no, like that. So when we talk about things that are being taught, right? When we say about things that stick with you through life because this has been ingrained in me, right? Certain things, if it's the right thing, you don't go wrong. But we have instances like I was trying to explain, the guy who was a 2-parent household going to a prep school, whatever the case may be, just had friends from outside of this that was probably inside the neighborhood, just outside of school, that influenced him to capital murder. And he was a good guy gone bad.
To nurture
And
conversation.
and he wasn't and probably, and again, from a two-parent household, you got a father who's trying to steal some things, and hopefully
But the environment he went to,
for the environment he went to.
he got kind of
So
caught up in that.
and and unfortunately, this will be one of those conversations where somebody would try to blame the woman for the environment that she was in, right? Why was she at this house party? Why was she this? Why was she wearing that? Why was she not by herself? Why would no, 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 no. We do not do victim blaming when when again you have a go this way or go that way opportunity. And when you don't take the right one, it impacts forever. And I know I did a lot of prelude to this conversation, but it was jolting because it was just retweeted on my timeline, and I could not just like it and not retweet it. I could not let that story not be something that is seen. Her name is Raylan Cameron, and she was 17 years old, and she was shot and killed because she rejected sexual advances from um, I believe his name is Javon Duncan. That's how you pronounce his name. And he was only given 15 years for second degree manslaughter for this particular action. Uh 17 years plus 15 years. That young lady in her career could be a mother, could be a wife, could be AOC. You know what I'm saying? Like she has been robbed of the opportunity to live life. And the repercussions, when we ask, do the Proud Boys get a getting a check fit the crime? When we ask them, do it like do when Chud the Builder gets $1.525 million bond, does it fit the crime? When we're asking, do these things fit the crime? I want to tell y'all right now, this is not a biased show. Put that nigga under the jail. Put that nigga in the volcano where we put the child play guys. Put that nigga in the volcano where we put the neo-Nazi niggas. Put that nigga. Matter of fact, yes. Send him in the cell with some neo-Nazis. That's his motherfucking punishment, my nigga. Have him get branded with a swastika and be the bitch of some neo-Nazis, my nigga. Like, and I'm saying that because
He deserves
he
a
deserves.
fitting punishment.
Yeah,
15 years, I'm not sure if that's enough. The girl is 17 years old, and he
not
took her
enough.
life. And like you said, like in 15 years, she could have been, you know, she could have been, the sky's the limit,
Or that's
And
what's that? 33,
off of,
30,
huh?
32, 33. What should be 33, 32, 33? Like we're doing the math.
Definitely
Don't know
early
when her birthday is.
30s.
Like,
I think it's 33. I think 33, if I'm not mistaken.
bro, early
Wait, wait.
30s. Like
Uh,
I have my yeah
oh, go ahead. My
17 and
bad.
15. Yeah, 17 and 15, 32.
32. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
32, 33, depending on her birthday. I'm saying like me, I'm 37. I'm 37. Right? We talked about Trayvon Martin would have been in his 30s. Right? Like,
And how old is he?
man, I don't even know if they give his age. I don't even know if they give his age. Let me play this video. Let me see
Yeah,
if they give
go
his
ahead.
age in the video. Here we go.
Cassandra Adams is grieving the loss of her daughter, 17-year-old Raylan Cameron, a Brooklyn High School of the Performing Arts graduate and a freshman at Medgar Evers College, who police say was shot inside this East New York apartment building on Eldert Lane Monday night. For this mom, it just doesn't make sense.
She wasn't that type of person. She didn't smoke weed. She was in the church and everything. I couldn't have asked for a better child.
Adams tells us her daughter would have been 18 years old in just 9 days. Family
Ah.
says Raylan Cameron was a dancer, studying liberal arts in college, and often volunteered her time to help the community. Her life stripped away by the hands of a gunman. The girl's mother tells us she was hanging out with her adopted cousin who lives inside this high-rise. The cousin invited some friends over, but why Cameron was shot is unclear.
She was with her so-called cousin who won't speak to the police, who is just letting her die in vain.
First responders were called and took her daughter to nearby Brookdale Hospital, where she died. The disturbing scene inside the building shows a trail of blood leading to the 6th floor from the lobby area.
My sister lost her life, and it's sad, but I will make sure that we find justice for you, Ray Ray.
I am heartbroken, but I'm going to let y'all know I will not rest.
I looked it up. The kid was 16 years old. 16 years old. And he's already trying to make sexual advances on a 17-year-old girl. It's, I think we have to, as men, and teach these young cats how to treat women. I think that's the message I want. It's hard. I don't even know what to say. But
Well, treat themselves. First of all, you 16.
you're right.
You 16. You got a pistol, and you looking for my guy. Like I was 16. I was 16, bro. I wasn't 16 walking around strapped trying to get some from a woman or a girl at the time, and then get so angry that I pulled my gun out. First of all, if I'm 16 and I'm strapped, I'm going to do something nefarious. I'm out with the guys. We looking for trouble. We do like that is again something that's not supposed to be highlighted or something that's supposed to be, but it's supposed to be I see a rival neighborhood and we got into a fight.
Excuse me, what was his name?
I think his name is Javon Duncan, Javone. The only Javon we know is Evans. Respect, huh? Like, he done messed it up. Like Javon Duncan, and I don't want to say his name too much because
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Raylan. No, I know Raylan.
I think I might have gotten it wrong. That's why. But
okay, you got to. You looking it up now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to get the perspective of it. Oh my God.
Oh no, Chidi.
He's 26, bro. He's 26 years old.
Yeah. Well, burn him alive. Burn him alive. Burn. I ain't even no joke. So as we book in this conversation about child's play. Now this sounds like when
26-year-old man talking to a girl who's like 10 years younger than him, trying to make sexual advances. What the fuck is wrong with you, bro? What the fuck is wrong with these guys, man?
Now we can blame mental illness, but nah, nah. And you can, and we've been around, and we've been in those situations when a girl plays it coy. She's like, I'm not 18, I'm 17. Usually somebody steps in. Usually somebody intervenes. But if the cousin ain't talking to the cop, do you think she set it up?
I can't even talk to a college girl at 26. Like I I'm at that point. I'm not even talking to the freshman. Like
The
it's
freshman, bro.
sh- sh- man. First of all, rest in peace to Raylan Cameron, and condolences to her family for this tragic experience. And I know how it be in Brooklyn, and some of these dudes out there, how you know the city be sometimes, and having to protect a young girl in that city sometimes. Um, I can only imagine the struggles that it is to keep her on the right path. And from what we're hearing, she was a woman, a girl who was about church and given to the community, and to lose her to a frivolous shooting of an insecure 26-year-old man is not the way we want her story to end. She deserves so much better. So
And him
condolences.
being 26, getting 15. I don't want him to have reconciliation. I don't want him to be able to get out at 41
Yeah.
and be able to live a life, because now we talking about condemning somebody from now here we go. Now here we are. I am a hypocrite. And I will not leave this show without admitting that right now. We just said that we want the white people to come and have some atonement for the things that they've done, and then come on the other side a better person and say, hey, I did this, but I don't do this anymore.
But
So
even the white
for
people who are killing young girls, do you want that from them? I don't care. Like if you are out there shooting young girls because of your a sexual advance and you're a grown man, I think you deserve more than 15 years, in my opinion. I agree with you on that.
okay,
You
okay,
know,
so
I'm not
I
saying there isn't atonement within jail. You can find God in there, but this is a life you took. So now your life has to be taken too.
yeah, yeah.
Not
You know
not
what?
not
You
not
know what?
literally.
But you're right. If
Hmm.
you took a life, if you took a life, you have to give your life. I do. I agree with that. I agree with that. Javon Duncan, I don't know if you're going to come back and be a better person. I I hope you do everything you can
She's
to
17.
that family and give back to that family when you have the ability to give back to that family. I hope you never forget the name Raylan Cameron. And I hope that if you have the opportunity to be a better person, that you take that opportunity. Because I'm telling you, I'm not the judge, the jury, or the executioner, brother. But Judgment Day, you will see one. You will see one. Rest in peace, Raylan Cameron.
Man, rest in peace, Reverend Kevin. And with that being said, I don't know if you have any words left. It's hard for me to speak because putting myself, if that was one of my nieces or nephews, I would fucking go crazy, bro. Um, yeah. That's where my mind goes. But I come in here and I say all is love because if you have love in your heart first, you don't end up in situations or put people in situations like this. Anything else you got to say, brother?
No, man. I want that young lady name to be elevated in peace and love and in remembrance. Again, I again, he has to give his life. No, and I'm speaking that way because hey, Henry Ruggs. Hey boy, when you get your ass out of jail, you give your life. Henry Ruggs, you understand? Like this ain't just one sided.
Yeah, you're right.
Like this is like because I've lost people through natural causes. You know, I can't speak to. I was secondhand. I vividly remember my mother's best friend. My mother's best, and this sounds like a black person story, but my mother's best friend's sister was heinously murdered in Buffalo, and I was, her daughter, my mom's best friend daughter used to babysit, which was her aunt and everything like that. So I was being babysat at that time when they got the news, and my mom was there, and they had to go down to the morgue and identify the body and everything like that, and that secondhand trauma of losing somebody to an act like that is different than my people had an illness or or whatever. It's the pain hurts. The pain hurts, but that pain of somebody taking somebody from you is different. So I'm speaking on
Oh my God.
again a POV of I send my baby to school. I send my baby to college. My baby graduates. My baby's going to her cousin house and they whatever. I'm pretty sure the last thing said is be safe. And she say, I will, mom. Like just normal conversation. Just normal. I and nothing of it. And if it is mental illness or trauma or pain that Javon is going through or went through or is going, is experiencing, again, get that help. I made the joke that Chud won't get help in prison, but I pray that something comes upon Javon that help washes over him, and that he then, again, you owe that to that family.
People to
You
that,
owe that to that family.
seeing your soul's in question. Hopefully you did. Hopefully you did the work. That's all I can say.
Man, yeah. All right, let's go ahead and end this. Do I need Stephon Marbury eating Vaseline again to like this? To like, that was on our show we did.
We need a better way to like
That was
move
on our
this
show.
pod than
That was on our
Stephon
show.
Marbury eating Vaseline. That cannot be the trend.
That was I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Marbury. I'm sorry, Steph.
You know, on a Joe Budden podcast, whenever there's like a bad story like this that happens, they'll play outstanding, and just change the mood, let people like sit with it for a little bit. And like we need something like that, but it cannot be Stephon Marbury eating Vaseline. If that's the go-to every time a sad story comes up.
Oh, I might get in my Joe bag. Prize picks.
Man. Oh my Lord, that's crazy. But
Oh man.
listen, man, it's been a pod. It's been a little heavy. I promise you tomorrow I'm gonna come with a bit more of a lighter conversation. It's Friday tomorrow, guys. So trust me, we need it just as much as y'all may need it. But we will be back tomorrow. Talk about everything that matters, what everything is. I'm your host, Cheedy City Bang. That's Chris the Most High. All is love. Keep love first in your mind and have empathy for people around you. And everything is everything, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
Everything is everything.
Peace.